Hi, this is Terry. I want to talk to you a little bit today about the lunchroom, our children, and self-regulation. So you think about, do we set our kids up for failure? Put a bunch of children, in the school lunchroom. What happens? Do you remember being in the lunchroom and how that felt? Anxiety, anxious, craziness, noise, sound, lots going on. And then you have children who have attention deficit or behavior or trauma. Lunch is over. We send them back to the classroom. And then we get mad when they don't behave. We get upset because they don't listen. How about this? Even better. Let's put a TV in our child's room, but tell them, don't ever watch it when I tell you you can't. How effective is that going to be? You're going to tell me you have a child who actually wouldn't watch that TV one time sneak? We set our children up for failure. We put them in situations where it's so hard for them to regulate themselves that they end up having behaviors and problems. We need to be much more aware of what's going on in the environment our children are in and catching, okay, they're having this behavior. What just happened, right? What was going on prior to this that maybe set them off and had this happen? I was working with a young lady whose son is 16, and she was just beside herself because her son kept having behaviors in school. He would mouth off to the teachers. He wouldn't listen to them. If they told him to do something, he'd stand his ground and say, no, I'm not doing it. Until we figured out that the tone and the way this was being presented to this child was inappropriate for his personality type, his perception of the world, and it made it very difficult when we don't understand our kids. They cannot regulate sometimes, and as the adults and people in charge, I think we need to understand a little bit more what sets our kids off and what can we do to do a better job at managing that so we don't hit triggers for children of abuse and trauma, because many times that's what we do. A trigger is something, it can be a smell, it can be a color, it can be a taste, it can be a sound, quick movement. There's so many things that can be triggers for children. And when we set off children's triggers, they're going to react in their trauma response. You know, we talked about in the earlier segment, the thinking, feeling, or fight or flight. And so sometimes kids, when we trigger them, are going to respond in that manner. And then we step back as parents, educators, daycares, and we don't want to know what to do. But we just see this bad child, right? This kid is naughty. This kid is broken, and it's their fault. When in fact, we can do a better job as adults, working with these kids, understanding where these kids are coming from, and helping them to be more successful by having more empathy and compassion, and maybe asking a few more questions about what's going on, looking at that, and being, better at interpreting emotion and our own emotion especially, because I know it's easy to get upset with children when they misbehave, and we need to really learn to manage that emotion within ourselves so we can help children.